Hey guys, it's Colin with Ghost Train Comics. Today we're going to be looking at G.I. Joe Volume 2. So we'll be continuing on in that track, issue 7 to 12. And we're going to be jumping into some more Energon emerging as we continue our journey through the various books from Void Rivals, Transformers, the G.I. Joe precursors into G.I. Joe. We'll be continuing on with M.A.S.K and with ROM when those two come out. But of Joshua Williamson and a couple of artists on this one, starting off with Andrea Milana, and then we are continuing on here with Lee Loughridge in colors, Russ Wooten on lettering, and then Marco Fodera. Let's get into it. There's a lot of interesting aspects to this book. Fantastic cover showing Major Bludd threatening the Baroness. Yes, I swear you could buy it just on the strength of that image alone. Starts off with a bang, picking up from issue 6, a cliffhanger reveal of Hound, the scout, and following his interaction with Clutch. And then we do get to meet Matt Trakker as well of M.A.S.K fame, which will tie in more as G.I. Joe continues on in Volume 3. Williams keeps everything moving smoothly, and the Transformers and the M.A.S.K interaction seem organic and unforced. The interaction with Hound and the Ravager, plus the prior damage, are nice throwbacks to episode 1 of the Transformers animated show from 1984. The art by Andrea Milana is very flexible, covering functional through the right amount of precise detail. We start to see the introduction of the Night Force elements in Joshua Williamson's kind of long-term planning and what they have set up later on. The Beachhead mission is pretty much a solo issue, similar in my mind to the Scarlet Precursor miniseries that Kelly Thompson did so well, and also tying in with the storyline from that series as well as Destro miniseries, the Down Waters, and the Cobra Commander one also. Up to issue 8, and we're still responding at every step with both the Precursor minis and the DWJ Transformers series storylines. The further into each of the Energon books that we get, the more one can admire how well different teams are balancing their own agendas whilst reflecting overarching storylines from the broader shared universe. We take a detour then with the Baroness issue, seeing more of CoverGirl, and are given a glimpse of both characters' inner lives and motivation. The art for the non-action lead-up is particularly good here, and then Russ Wooten's dynamic lettering signaling Transformers level action shenanigans about to start as Raptor shows up. The Raptor character is beautifully visualized, but does come across as a weird version of kind of Tamu, Kraven the Hunter to me, with the Falcon fixation and a slightly black backstory. The Bludd, over-the-top evil sneering and elaborate schemes, as well as Raptor's weird Kraven-esque origin, are almost cute, quaint throwbacks to the original series. As I noted in a previous video, there's nothing wrong with adding some cheese into the mix, as this is still a viable, beloved Hasbro property that should be open and accessible to all ages. And I'll touch on that in a moment, as I do realize that these books are rated teen/mature versus the more all ages A Real American Hero series that's also concurrently running. But it doesn't track especially. It seems slightly jarring as Williamson does do such a good job regarding keeping the series modern, tight, and reasonably sophisticated overall. But some of the extreme violence here in the fight between CoverGirl and the Baroness, and then with Bludd, is slightly eyebrow-raising in a book aimed at a line based on Hasbro toy properties. The comics for the mainline ongoing series and pre-launch miniseries like Duke and Cobra Commander are generally meant for older teens and adult readers. And another note, the upcoming animated series is the same as the Skybound books. The adaptation that's in development is also firmly aimed at mature audiences, adapting an adult Invincible-style tone rather than being a traditional kids comic. Still an entertaining, cohesive universe overall, but certainly for me it's not quite as well balanced, hitting the sweet spot of a general all-ages friendly approach as consistently as Transformers does and Void Rivals does as well. The conclusion of the CoverGirl Baroness team-up was well handled, though part of me was still expecting some revelation about the Baroness faking her backstory just to get CoverGirl more on her side. It was refreshing to see the two female leads take care of business while showing their personalities a little bit more. It also easily passes the Bechdel test for those paying attention. And that's where two female characters can exist and interact without having to reference a third, non-present male character. The Night Force issue has been hinted at since the start of this volume and was an interesting departure and more of a focus on the Black Ops side of G.I. Joe. Whilst Williamson does a good job here, I did find these characters much less likable and not particularly heroic or notable, besides being gruff and skillful covert operatives, which I know may have been the entire point of it. They're not here for me to like them, they're here to do their job and show that they're, tough and willing to do what it takes, etc. And this is no doubt part of the lead up to what's going to set them at odds with the Joes, who still have much more of a defined moral code that they follow, like traditional kind of comic book heroes, if you like. I think this team would work well in their own miniseries, or at least just as crossovers with the main Joe's book, as the difference between the attitudes and operating philosophies are so hugely different. And after doing a bit of research on this, the various vibes here are indeed being set up to tie in with the big confrontation that kicks off a Night Force versus the Joes storyline full on in issue 25 onwards. Andrea Milana does the interiors in an efficient and effective fashion, with Lee Loughridge draping the pages in suitable colors for tone and mood, with ever-brilliant Russ Wooten doing a lot of kinetic lifting and layering with amazing sound effects that bring the whole scenes and pages alive. Marco Fodera matches well with the Night Force story, where the dark colors mixed with the punctuated bursts of bright gunfire, etc., are again completed by Russ Wooten, bringing non-dialogue noise into the action in a very effective and realistic fashion. So Volume 2 accomplishes quite a bit in team and individual character growth, as well as tying the book closer to the overall Energon Universe and soft launching the darker sister team of Night Force. The inclusion of Matt Trakker is also a soft nudge towards the M.A.S.K series, which has just recently gone off into its own spin-off series. I'm looking forward to Volume 3 and seeing where we're going with the Hound and Clutch storyline in particular. Duke was not really doing a whole lot in these issues here, besides just being a setup for other character storylines, so it'll be interesting to see where Williamson takes that character in Volume 3. But guys, as always, it's Colin with Ghost Train Comics. Please do give us a subscribe, a like, and any feedback on how you feel about the review, the series, the Energon Universe overall, or anything else on your mind in comics. Just reach out. let us know. Hope to see you again soon, and take care.